It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Concierge Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand my ups and downs.
Welcome to Hour 2 of Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We are broadcasting live from the Concierge Landscape Studios. We're also brought to you the second hour by Extreme Exteriors. If you're looking for quality workmanship and attentive customer service, you want to call the folks at Extreme Exteriors. They won't give you a sales job. They will be thoughtful and consultative in their approach and to all your maintenance needs. That's Extreme Exterior, 763-441-1334. Tell them Gene and Tony sent you. And if you're just joining us, we've got a number of things that we want to talk about here in the second hour. We'd love to hear from you as well.
Yeah, call us at 651-289-4488 or email Gene, Gene, at ncmgi.com, and he will watch for your email during the show today.
Yes. And just to give you a heads up, a couple of the topics that we're kind of keeping track of here, we're going to be talking about the state of Nevada. They are just nuts out there sometimes in what and how they view homeowner associations.
They got their hate on for their homeowners associations.
They got their hate on. We want to hear from you on that. And also there's this legislator, and I think this is from the state of Texas, who says that he wants to see that something else is done other than an HOA foreclosing on a homeowner for non-payment. He would like to see it required that they start offering up their personal property inside as a way of paying off what they owe the association.
He's got some very creative payment ideas.
Yeah, and so we want to hear from you on a couple of these. But let's deal with the state of Nevada.
Now, this is the article that I meant was inflammatory, not the article about the community center and the association. I had been looking at this one, and this is a great example of inflammatory reporting.
Oh, isn't it? And this is, remember, the state of Nevada, these are the same folks that brought you HOA syndrome and other things.
That's right.
But I tell you what, we also have a caller on the line right now. And you know what? Why don't we take a second here before we get into this article, and why don't we go to Saul on line 1. You have a question on buying a townhouse. Good morning, Saul. Welcome to the show.
Well, good morning to you, and thank you so much for taking my call. It was kind of a timely thing to tune into your show. I am right now exploring the possibility of buying, let's say a 3 or 4 bedroom townhouse, and then renting rooms to people, furnishing it and renting 3 rooms or something like that, 3 different people. And I'm wondering, would that be a possibility? Would it be a problem? Any thoughts about that one way or the other?
Yes, I'll let Tony answer, but just don't rent out your garage. That was from the last article. But
what if I can get a really good price for the garage?
Yeah.
Well, then maybe so. But,
Yeah.
Tony.
Saul, before you purchase, you need to very carefully read the governing documents of the homeowners association. Most townhome associations I have worked with do have restrictions and prohibitions against what you're suggesting. They will say in their documents that you cannot rent less than the entire townhouse to a family or to a person. And this is exactly what they're trying to prevent happening, is a rooming house kind of situation where there's subletting or there's just more than one lease going on for that home.
Okay, could I have a follow-up question? I mean, what if I found an association that was tolerant of this idea, but then people in the association didn't like it? Could they change the rules on me?
Well, that's a very good question. They cannot easily change their governing documents, but if their documents are silent on the issue, the board has the authority to draft rules and regulations as long as they don't contradict the governing documents.
But
so you would want to make sure you're involved in that homeowners association. maybe run for the board of directors so that your opinion is always out there?
Got it.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, though, that it is. I think that you can be very proactive in this kind of situation. One of the things that we always encourage folks to think about, if you think that there's, you begin to hear any pushback or anybody that's kind of negative, always take the time to get to know who those neighbors are and see what some of the same concerns are. It may not be an issue of the fact that you're renting out rooms to other people where you're residing yourself. It may be an issue of parking, for example. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes, just being cognizant of what some other people are thinking, you could probably make a few minor changes just to keep neighbors happy. And, that's what neighbors do anyway,
Well, that's just a quick follow-up thought about that. When I was looking at some of the townhouses, it occurred to me, okay, if I've got three separate individuals, let's say renting one bedroom apiece, and the garage holds two cars, but the area in front of the garage can accommodate two more cars, but they wouldn't obviously be in the garage. Would that create problems?
Again, you have to look at their rules and regulations because it might.
In the case where I live, Saul, I live in a townhome association. We have a double-car garage, and the governing, or not the rules and regulations specifically state no more than two vehicles in the driveway. And so...
so you could have two in the garage.
If it were the association where I live, you'd have two in the garage and two more in the driveway. You'd be fine.
Okay.
So
right.
I want to say one more thing, Saul. You didn't ask for this advice, but I'm going to give it to you anyway.
Yes.
It's difficult to operate a rental in that way, I think, where you have three separate leases, one for each bedroom. I think that adds a lot of work for you. It adds a lot of possibility for having problems with leases and with tenants. Why are you thinking of doing it that way?
Well, I'm kind of glad you asked because I haven't been completely open about my thinking, and perhaps if I am, I'll get more advice.
Well, and you don't have to be.
No, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I want the whole world to know the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Okay. I've worked extensively in the area of addiction recovery. I used to be the clinical director at Hazelden. I do a bunch of things individually right now. And one of the things that's really beneficial for people is to be in what is called sober housing.
Sure.
And so, people would buy, let's say, a home, and then they would furnish it, and then they would make rooms available to people, for periods of time, and there'd be very, very strict and clear understanding of acceptable behavior. And, I can foresee that this would not be well received in a lot of places, but, if it would be well run, it wouldn't be a detriment really to any association. But, perception is 9/10 of the law in some cases.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, it is.
I agree with you. I think our position at where you live has always been that if things are done correctly, that with any type of a rental situation, it can be a good experience. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's something that's going to be just fraught with nightmares and difficulties for homeowners.
Right.
Well, that's a very legitimate reason for doing it that way. But I don't know, Saul. You might want to think about finding something that's not attached housing, or in an association.
Right. Yeah, I understand, and I'm glad that you pushed me to be completely candid about that because I think that's a natural concern. I don't want to get into a situation where I'm battling people on a regular basis.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't be good for the clients or the people that would be the tenants that would be living there either. But, well, I really, really appreciate your time. This has been very helpful.
Okay.
Thanks for your call.
Thanks for calling.
Saul reminded me, the last time I was a site manager, I managed a very large apartment community in New Brighton, which probably a lot of people actually lived in over the years, called Polynesian Village. And when it's 300 some units. It's a big property. Hazelton actually had a sober housing program going on at that property. They leased, I think, 20 of the apartments.
So they did have.
And it was a halfway
Okay.
housing situation for women who had graduated from Hazelton. Worked really well.
Okay. Well, good. Well, we wish the best to you, Saul, in your endeavors. We need to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this article from the state of Nevada. Folks, they're just nuts out there. More after these messages.